There is no apex predator more universally feared in the ocean than this one. Not the great white shark, not the sperm whale, not anything. The killer whale, Orcas orca, holds the top position in every ocean on Earth. Every ocean, simultaneously. It hunts great white sharks and extracts their livers with surgical precision. It coordinates attacks on blue whales, the largest animals that have ever lived, in groups. It has been filmed ramming ocean sunfish with such force the fish explode on impact. In July 2026, researchers confirmed this sunfish ramming behavior on video for the first time. It may be feeding, it may be playing, nobody is sure. And it does all of this while maintaining complex family cultures, regional dialects, and a social structure built entirely around the authority of old females who can no longer reproduce. Welcome to the Abyss Report. This is the real story of the killer whale.
The name killer whale is a mistranslation. Early Spanish sailors called them asesina de ballenas, whale killers, for their habit of attacking large whales. When translated into English, the words were reversed. They are not whales, they are dolphins. Orcas orca is the largest member of the oceanic dolphin family. The largest males can reach 32 feet and weigh up to 6 tons. Their distinctive black and white coloring makes them unmistakable, and their dorsal fin, up to 6 feet tall in adult males, is one of the most recognizable shapes in ocean wildlife. But the most important thing about orcas is not their size, it is their diversity. In 2025, scientists confirmed what had been suspected for years. What we call the orca is not one species, it is multiple ecotypes, populations so genetically, behaviorally, and physically distinct that they are now being provisionally classified as separate subspecies. Transient orcas hunt marine mammals. Resident orcas eat only fish. Offshore orcas eat sharks. They live in the same ocean and never interbreed. They speak different dialects. They are different animals operating under the same name. Orcas are the only animal on Earth that has been documented hunting every other apex predator in the ocean. In 2025, researchers documented juvenile great white sharks being hunted by transient orcas in the Gulf of California, not for bulk feeding, but specifically for their livers. An orca will ram a great white, flip it into tonic immobility, a reflex that paralyzes sharks when inverted, and then use the pressure differential of its body to extract the liver through the shark's body wall. The operation takes minutes. They leave the rest. Blue whales, the largest animals ever, are hunted cooperatively. A pod will isolate a blue whale, coordinate exhaustion attacks over hours, take turns ramming and biting, and eventually drown it by sitting on its blowhole. The strategy requires communication, planning, and role assignment. Humpback whales, sperm whales, dolphins, sea lions, penguins, rays. Every ocean, every prey type, every method, adapted specifically to what they are hunting, where they are hunting it, and how many animals are available to help. Since 2020, a subgroup of orcas off the Iberian Peninsula has been ramming and disabling sailing vessels in the Strait of Gibraltar. As of 2026, they have disabled or sunk dozens of boats. Scientists do not believe this is an attack. The leading hypothesis is that it began as play behavior by a single female, designated White Gladys, and spread through social learning to younger orcas who copied it without understanding why it started. This is perhaps the most unsettling detail of the boat interactions. These orcas are not defending territory. They are not mistaking boats for prey. They may simply have learned that boats move interestingly when pushed, and a generation of younger orcas grew up watching this and joined in. The behavior is cultural. It spread the same way a human trend spreads, and it is still spreading as of 2026. Different orca pods produce different acoustic repertoires, distinct click and whistle patterns that function as dialects. Each pod has its own dialect. Pods that share dialects are classed as clans. Pods from different clans rarely interact socially. In 2025, a study confirmed that the West Coast transient orca population breaks into two completely separate subpopulations, Inner Coast
and outer coast that share the same waters but almost never interact. In 16 years of observation, less than 1% of sightings involved both groups simultaneously. When they do encounter each other, the behavior is remarkable. Single males from one group have been recorded slapping each other with dorsal fins and charging at females from the other group. The social tension of animals that recognize each other as different but cannot easily explain why. Their dialects are not instinct, they are learned. Calves born into a pod spend years absorbing the sounds of their family before producing their own. The dialect is transmitted socially. It is cultural in the most direct possible sense. Female orcas are one of only 6 species on Earth, including humans, that undergo menopause. They stop reproducing, but they do not die. They live for decades after their last calf. Some female orcas live past 80 years. In a typical mammal species, this makes no evolutionary sense. An individual that cannot produce offspring is, in the strict genetic logic of natural selection, finished. And yet, these post-reproductive females not only survive, they lead. Studies of resident orca populations show that pod survival rates increase significantly when a post-menopausal female is present. When food is scarce, these older females, who have 80 years of memory of where salmon stocks were, which currents carried which fish, which years were lean, lead the pod to food that younger animals could not have found. They are the pod's memory, the pod's navigation system, the pod's survival mechanism built across 80 years of accumulated knowledge. They are grandmothers, and their grandmotherhood is the reason their family lines survive. Orcas are among the most cognitively complex animals ever studied. They pass the mirror self-recognition test, suggesting self-awareness. They exhibit grief, documented cases of mothers carrying dead calves for days, sometimes weeks, in behavior researchers describe as mourning. They teach hunting techniques to calves through deliberate demonstration, intentional stranding on beaches to catch sea lions, demonstrated slowly in front of juveniles who practice the technique under supervision. In 2025 and 2026, orca ecotypes are increasingly described not just as genetically distinct populations, but as distinct cultures, groups with unique behaviors, knowledge systems, and social norms that cannot be explained by genetics alone. The offshore ecotype that specializes in shark eating has developed a technique, removing the shark's pectoral fin to prevent swimming, not shared by any other orca population. They invented it or inherited it from whoever invented it, and they use it as a community.
Not all orca populations are thriving. The southern resident killer whales, 76 individuals as of early 2026, are one of the most endangered marine mammal populations on Earth. They eat salmon, specifically Chinook salmon, and Chinook salmon populations have collapsed across much of their range from dams, overfishing, and climate-driven habitat loss. The southern residents are starving. High calf mortality is linked directly to maternal malnutrition, mothers too hungry to produce enough milk, calves born into bodies already depleted. Meanwhile, the Big's transient population, which eats marine mammals rather than salmon, is doing well, growing, expanding. But they are now provisionally classified as a separate subspecies, which means the endangered southern residents cannot be counted together with thriving transient populations to assess their status. They are facing extinction on their own terms.
In 2026, the killer whale is simultaneously thriving and critically endangered. It is simultaneously one species and potentially several. It is simultaneously the ocean's most feared predator and a grandmother leading her family to food across 8 decades of memory. It rams boats for fun. It extracts shark livers with precision surgery. It mourns its dead. It teaches its children. It has accents. We have been calling it a whale since a translation error centuries ago. We have been calling it one species when it is many. We have been calling it predictable when it is anything but. The killer whale is the most complex animal in the ocean, and we are still genuinely only beginning to understand it. Subscribe to the Abyss Report. We go back down next week. See you in the deep.